Hi everyone, my name's Electric Donkey and welcome back to another GameMaker tutorial. So today we are back on the NPC series. We are on number 5, I believe. Hard to keep track, do them a week apart. It gets very confusing as to which one I'm on. So anyway, today we're going to be starting off the quest system, which may or may not get finished in this episode, but it definitely won't if I carry on talking. So what we're going to do is make a new object. It's going to be called object quests, and this is just going to be storing all of our quests. So we need to add an event, create event. Actually, let's just go ahead and add all the events first. So an alarm 0, a step event, a draw event, and what else do we need? Let me check. Yeah, game end, that was it. Okay, so first of all, let's just add something into our alarm, and this is again another one to stop spamming. We use this quite commonly, it's just a little habit of mine. And now in the create event, we are going to do some fancy stuff. Not really though. Initialize the quest list. So what we're going to use is we're going to use a grid. Yes, grid. Whoops, not guest. Quest. DS grid create. And our DS grid is going to have 2 on the width and 8 on the height. And you can change these around to whatever you want. The 2 though has to stay the same. So that's 1 for the name and 1 for the information. The 8 is just how many quest slots you have available. Now we're going to do DS grid. Whoops. Is that right? Yeah, that is right. Clear. Global.quests. Can't type today. And we're going to clear it to a value of empty. You can do this to whatever you want, but remember to set all the other bits that we'll do later to same as whatever you put in here. I've put a little note here of how to add a quest, but we'll cover that later. So yeah, for the minute that will do. We've done our alarm, and now let's do a game end, because it makes it in a logical order. So what we need to do, because we've created our grid which is going to hold all of our quests, we need to destroy it at the end of the game. It's very, very important. So DS grid destroy global.quests. Otherwise you've got a risk of memory leaks and all sorts of that bad stuff that you really don't want to happen. So remember that there. We don't need a comment or anything. So now let's draw it. Trying to do it in a kind of logical order. Now this is quite a big bit. There's quite a few calculations and stuff. But draw the quest list. And we're going to use a basic for loop. So I presume if you're here you probably already know what they are. So I equals 0. I is bigger than DS grid height. I'll explain that in a minute. Global.quests -1. Don't forget that -1. And then I plus plus. It's quite a long for loop actually, but I'll explain what this bit is. So this is basically this bit is calculating our height, which in this case is 8, and then taking away 1 because you've got to remember that 0 is still counted as a value. So we don't want there to be 8 slots. We don't want them to be 9 slots, we want there to be 8 slots. And then we're going to draw set alpha to 0.3. That's the first bit we're going to do. Now we're going to draw a rectangle. We're going to go back and comment this maybe in the next video, maybe in this one if I don't think we've got time to move on. But I'm trying to get through as much as possible first. So what this does is it's just minusing 100. It just works well with my room. You can change that value to be whatever you want, but I recommend keeping room width, as it means it's adaptable to any room size. Now we've got some calculations. These are quite nice calculations. They work quite well with what I've done, what we've made so far. So I'd advise you to keep them exactly as they are. These bits. These are just to calculate the Y axis. You can change this one if you want. That's how far down it is. But I wouldn't change this bit. Okay. Again, you can change this value here, which makes it further down, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember it. I wrote this code bit quite a while ago. I'm just kind of recycling it. False. So what this is going to do is it's going to make a clear rectangle about 0.3 alpha using these calculations and these values, which you can probably change if you want to as well. But again, I wouldn't recommend changing these unless you've got some sort of basic knowledge about what we're actually doing. Now we're going to set the alpha back to 1, and we are going to draw set font. Now I haven't actually made any fonts yet, but it's going to be called font small, and what this font's going to be, I'll show you in a minute, is it's going to be a smaller font so it fits in the text boxes. So it's going to be called font small, and then the size is going to be 7. Leave everything else as it is, that's fine, and then click OK. And actually what we're going to do really quickly as well is make a font default. Font default. And this is just going to be exactly as it sets itself to normally, so just leave that. And now you've got our 2 fonts that we're going to be using for the quest system. We can go back into our draw event now, and you can see it's turned kind of reddy orange. Anyway, now we're going to actually draw our text. Whoops. Text. And we're going to do this time room width minus 90. I'd advise keeping that bigger than that number. It makes it look a little bit more central, a bit neater. And this time we're going to do 42. And it's going to be plus 30 times I. Again, I wouldn't change them. I've like drilled that into your skull now, I think. Now, it's not a box, so I was going into autopilot then. But what we're going to draw a text is global.quests, and then we use our accessor and everything, and then 0i, because what our I is how many we are scrolling through the quest slot, and then these will change depending on which one we're on. So if we're on the second quest slot, it'll be further down than the first quest slot, and it'll show whatever's in this first quest slot. And then we can literally just copy this over, because this is going to be the description which is underneath. So this is going to be 1. Also note that this is going to be below the actual title, so we're going to put 5 here. So it's going to be 52 plus 30 times I. Okay, that is that sorted. Before we end this little code block though, we're going to want to set the font back to the default. Font default. And that is literally all you have to do to draw it. So now, I believe if we go in and whoops, I've forgotten something very, very important. We've forgotten to add it into the room. So we can just cancel this. It's a very handy button, by the way. It terminates the window running. So actually remember to go back into your room, objects, and plot the quest in. Also we're going to move the NPC a bit closer, because we know that aspect of it already works, so it's just wasting time. So let's see how this runs now. It should bring it up. We can't close it down or open it up or anything. I'll maybe implement that in the next video. We can't add a quest, again, in the next video. and it's really poorly commented, so I'll do that again in the next video. So let's just see if this works. Yep, there you go. You can see we've got all of our empty slots. So this top slot will be where the name goes, and this will be the description goes. Also want to say this is a pretty amateurish quest system, because if it doesn't fit in this line it will just carry on going. But I will, if you want to focus on the text boxes themselves as being something very important, Heartbeast has done a text box tutorial which calculates how far the text box is, how far the text can go. So if you want to check that out, go check that out. But for the time being, guys, I think that's a pretty good quest system. It's not obviously working yet, but we've got the basis of it down and running at the minute. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, remember to like, subscribe, or just pop along to the next one. That'll do great. And I will talk to you later.